We're taking a live look across downtown Denver from our Mile High camera, and we are starting to see a little bit of a break in the clouds. It's been a rain and snow mix to start our day, and much colder than it was yesterday, of course. It is a Denver 7 Weather Action Day. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. We have our whole team focused on this May storm, starting with a first check of the timing of all this. Lisa.
It's happening right now in some spots. In fact, we'll go live out to Jessica there in Genesee, and you're going to find some snow on the ground. We'll get more rain and snow, though, here by mid-morning. Right around 10 o'clock, we'll start to see more wet conditions. It's going to turn over to all snow tonight, and we could get up to a foot possible in some spots. It's going to be likely along the Palmer Divide and closer to the foothills where you see some of that heavier snow. Pretty looking shot from Winter Park, but it does not look like mid-May. Now, obviously, the mountains can see snow late in the season, and we're getting a good dose there, and it could be over a foot in through parts of Rocky Mountain National Park here by midday tomorrow. That's where some of the good snow's coming down from Estes Park, Red Feather Lakes, Grand Lake. As you get up to Steamboat, we've had some good snow showers, and that's now starting to spread a little farther east and southeast, and that's the general direction of where we're going to see these wet conditions from northwest to southeast here through the morning, so things will start to fill in a bit more here in town again by midday. I'm going to take a closer look at our Super 7 Day with you here in just a few minutes at just how cold it gets tonight and the timing of when we're going to get back down to near freezing.
And most roads are just wet for us right now, except if you were going to be traveling to or from Wyoming, where I-80 remains closed down, Cheyenne to Laramie. This is up at the Colorado-Wyoming state line. You can see some of the snow right now, mostly in the grass, but it's still snowing and the roads are wet. And then getting down to, let's say, 119, something not too far from Fort Collins, and you can see up in Thornton, wet roads again. Take a look at the other cameras where I'll get to the slow traffic here on 6th Avenue in just a second, but you can see I-25 in Yale down by Castle Pines, and over here in 225, again, wet to drying conditions depending on where you're going. We'll take a look at the map where you can see some of the slow traffic from there. I-25, you just saw it, going to a crash right at Calumet, which is just before Santa Fe going into downtown. 8th Avenue is actually a lot faster for you right now. 20 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes on I-25. Getting into the city right now from the north side of town, but overall it's been pretty quiet on our freeways. Yeah, you do have some heavy pockets of slow and go traffic and some wet conditions to deal with, but overall it's not too bad right now.
All right, thank you, Jason. Well, a quick check out at Denver International Airport. The airlines are trying to stay ahead of this storm. So far, 186 flights have been canceled. 30 flights are delayed as a lot of people come into town for events this weekend. The airport has its plow team standing by. CDOT started the plows up the I-70 mountain corridor at 3 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, Jessica Crawford no doubt saw some of those plows out there. She's been live at Genesee, where the snow has been consistently falling for a few hours now, Jessica.
Yes, that's exactly right. So when we first got out here, kind of just before 5 o'clock, we saw a little bit more rain. Then the snow was kind of off and on. Now the snow not really letting up. It has been very consistent over, I want to say, the past hour and 30 minutes or so. I'm going to step back and just give you a look at the roadways right now. So you can see traffic moving along pretty well here along I-70. At first, we were not seeing really much accumulation of the snow, and we still don't see it on the actual roads, but just on that divider in between the roads, you can start to see, okay, snow's starting to get a little sticky, starting to build up in some areas. We're also seeing that same thing just on the roofs of these houses here, kind of starting to get that snow globe effect, even though, yes, we are right here in the middle of springtime. So definitely something that you want to keep in mind here as you're traveling today. The roads are wet. You are going to see any of the rain that you see. You're likely going to see that turn into snow, and also that temperature. As soon as we got out here, it wasn't too cold at first. That temperature dropped really fast. So definitely something that you're going to want to think about as you're traveling and leaving your home today to make your way to work. Live from Genesee, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
Good advice. Thanks, Jessica. If you are planning to head up to the high country to do any skiing or snowboarding, be aware avalanches still could be a concern. The Avalanche Information Center says the risk in the northern mountains will rise to considerable Saturday. That's the third highest threat level. In the central mountains, the risk rises to moderate. And in the southern mountains, the risk of avalanches is low. They're not getting as much snow as we are up here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the snow and rain we're seeing will not help crews much, battling several wildfires across our state right now. The Sims fire is burning near Montrose in western Colorado. It is 370 acres and evacuation orders are in effect there. The Plumtop fire north of Pagosa Springs is over 700 acres. No containment on it right now. The San Juan National Forest is now under stage 1 fire restrictions. The High Park fire near Cripple Creek is 87% contained, and the wildfire that sparked along the entrance to the Great Sand Dunes National Park is fully contained, so some good news there. Well, schools and families, and most importantly seniors, are anxiously waiting to hear how the snow and rain will impact graduation.
Yeah, of course, most schools plan outdoor ceremonies because they expect the May weather to cooperate. But as Denver 7's CB Cotton shows us, schools are now scrambling for backup plans.
The decorations are here. And Sue Ewig says things for her daughter's high school graduation party continue to go as planned.
I mean, I'm super proud. She has made the best of her 4 years at Monarch, even despite the COVID.
But graduation day is a different story.
With the weather, it just wasn't really doable.
Boulder Valley School District has made changes to 5 high school graduation ceremonies. Ewig's daughter's Monarch High School commencement was moved up a day and to a new venue, the First Bank Center.
At least we'll be indoors and we won't be freezing and soaking wet.
The district said it's disappointed the changes could keep some from attending.
I heard about a family today that I know, and their daughter's graduating. Her dad has to work tomorrow. He's a pharmacist, and her mom will be traveling home from her job tomorrow. So they will actually miss graduation. I don't even know if they'll be able to catch the live stream. So it's disappointing for sure.
Jeffco Schools also making changes. At least 2 of its ceremonies at Red Rocks have moved indoors to Denver Coliseum.
These kids in this town have really been through it this year with the Marshall Fire and prior to that with COVID, and they've come through it with grace, and I feel like graduation being moved is just another, it's a disappointment, but it's another opportunity for them to show their resilience.
CB Cotton, Denver 7.
Well, it's also a big weekend for high school sports. The Colorado High School Activities Association says the final day of the state track meet in Lakewood will be moved to Sunday if needed. The semifinal round of the girls and boys lacrosse tournaments have also been moved to Sunday and Monday, respectively. I think, Lisa, this rain and cold would make me run faster so I can get back in a warm place.
Yeah, it's going to make me dance like a crazy woman on Saturday at the Luke Combs concert, right? You got to do anything to stay warm. Take a look at your dog walking forecast. Speaking of getting out and going for a walk, yeah, not as pretty, as warm as what we saw yesterday. We're going to be at about 40 degrees here by 9 o'clock, mostly cloudy with a few showers, and then rain turning over to snow here. Cold and snow by about 7 o'clock. We'll be in the low to mid 30s, back to near freezing at that point. I'll show you just how much colder it's going to get by early tomorrow morning and what we're expecting snowfall-wise coming up.
We do have a crash up to the north side of town in the crash corridor southbound I-25 right after 104th Avenue. You can see the right lane is blocked, so everybody's pushing over to the left to get around this, and so traffic is bunched up from after 120th here to 104th. Wet conditions for us here as well as other places. We'll take a look at those travel times in just a minute.
Well, our snow coverage continues after the break with the best ways to protect your plants from freezing.
And the Blues put the Avs on ice last night. Their focus looking toward tomorrow's Game 3.